Hey there everybody, and welcome to an absolutely gorgeous bluebird day here on Mackinac Island. We've got an exciting little video for you here today. We are back after 1 year of planting this new Mackinac Island landscape. And many of you maybe have seen the video, or you certainly can go back and see. Last year we filmed the installation of this one when it was brand new, and we just designed and planted and installed this one here. And it's a really charming, smaller scale, but gorgeous, gorgeous landscape. 1 year later, thought it'd be fun to show you through how it's all starting to establish and take you through some of the design elements and things that we were thinking when we laid this all out, and why I feel like it's doing so well. We also are adding a whole new area to the landscape with a new hardscaped area, fire pit space that's under construction right now. So we're also going to check that out. So let's dive in. All right, so as many of you may recall, we did plant up this new landscape here last year, and this one has no lawn whatsoever. That's sort of number one big, factor to take into consideration right off the bat. No lawn. So everything is either a big planted forest-like meadow, or it's brick and it's hardscape. So we wanted to make sure that there's plenty of brick laid down to have full access around the house and be able to get from the different porches and things like that, have function to the space. And then of course we add in all this absolutely beautiful, beautiful plant material. When we're building out a garden or a landscape like this, the first thing that we do is build the soils. In this one, we used a lot of Mackinac Island compost. It's an awesome, awesome product that we have right here on the island, made from all the horses. Thank you very much. And all that compost, all that manure rather, is processed right here on the island. They mix in all the hotel and restaurant food scraps and things like that. A lot of the paper and things are shredded up and mixed into there, and they make a really awesome, awesome product that we can then buy back and use right here on the island, in the island's gardens. And as you can see, I'll dig down here a little bit, and it makes a really nice, that's got a little mulch mixed in, but a beautiful, beautiful, healthy black gold soil. So once we built the soil up and shaped some of these berms and mounds and things, then we get right into it. We're planting in trees. All of these were just planted last year. So we put in some pretty good sized trees, 3-inch caliper, 2-inch caliper, nice sized trees to get a landscape like this established. We've got maple, birch, serviceberry, lilacs, of course, here on Mackinac Island. Once those trees are in, then we start working in our drifts of different shrubs, which on this landscape include hydrangeas, dogwood, juniper. And these guys, I've given them a little bit of space because they're going to want to reach out and get big. I like the real natural form to them. And in this shadier area, they're going to be kind of loose, which is cool. And then we start laying out all of our perennials. So here we've got this big drift of ferns, and I always like to lay out in drifts of similar plants like this, because then I've got this big swath, or this sort of wisp of a shape here. Then I can weave into that these hostas, or weave into that another big wisp of astilbe. And these astilbes here, mixed colors, all right in there, but again, a real natural, organic sort of shape to it. And with those different wisps, then I can work in different flowering bulbs. So in the fall time, I know that I've got this big bank of astilbe here, so I can weave in this, thick planting of a certain type of daffodil or something that'll intermix with those well. So the daffodils, as they fade, no problem. The astilbe foliage will come up, cover those daffodils as they fade, and that successional planting will be really successful without any maintenance or any headaches or anything like that. In and amongst these ferns, same thing. You know, these ferns are gonna get pretty big and really fill this whole shape right in this ferny foliage. But then I know at the time of year that those are gonna get big and fill out and be a solid big, you know, feathery green mass. I've got some time in the spring to work in another kind of drift of a different flowering bulb that would be planted in the fall, and or thinking of some of these other perennials and stuff, I can work in like some fall anemone and other perennials that can interlace with those for that successional planting. So once I have my drifts of perennials in this particular garden, we've got ferns, astilbe, hosta are really the main anchors, and some drifts over here of daylily and hardy geranium where they get a little bit more sun. Then we mulch the entire bed one time with a really, really nice double or triple shredded bark blend. Mix in some good slow release fertilizers and compost into that blend and mulch everything. So we plant all the shrubs and perennials pretty high so that there's a couple inches of a good mulch, and then all this ground cover is planted right into that mulch blend. So after only 1 year, you can see these ground covers have really filled in beautifully. I've got ajuga here, sweet woodruff, pachysandra, myrtle, some different ivies, and they fill in so well and so thick when they're planted in that really, really healthy soil, so that even after 1 year, we don't have any more mulching to do. There's no weeding whatsoever because these different drifts and wisps of ground cover have filled in so nicely. And look at these cute, cute little alliums. This is a favorite of mine, Millennium allium here, an ornamental onion coming up, beautiful. But so anyway, a very, very successful garden here, woodland-like planting. I thought it'd be fun to show you guys through a year later what that looks like. And here you can see some big holes in the bed because we pulled out the plant material that was in here just the other day, because this is going to be, next week or so, a flagstone walkway through the garden and into this space down here in the woods. So we're gonna add to the lighting. We're gonna have some really pretty lights all down through here, add to a little bit more of the screening with some new plantings and such. And this is gonna be this really cool woodland flagstone patio space. So the crew and I have just gotten some base packed in here. We had to put about 6 to 8 inches of gravel in here because it was really, really loose, foresty loam. So packed in some nice gravel here, and we just got some sand that we unloaded off of the dray, and just have a big pile here right now. We'll get this all spread out and graded for the flagstone to go down. We're using a really nice thick, 2-inch thick Fond du Lac flagstone out of Wisconsin. And this stone, we'll cut a lot of this in and chisel that joint so it looks really nice and natural. But this will be a pretty tight joint on this one. Be a really, really nice tight patio with about a 1-inch joint of moss. So I want it to be a living joint, but in this shady forested canopy. We'd never have grass growing really well in here at all. So we're gonna do a moss joint, and it'll just glow, especially at night with the lighting all around it and everything. We'll have a fire pit right in the center, seating all around. It's gonna be very, very, very cool. All right, well, we are back on site here at this beautiful new build project, and the fire pit is now built, or the hardscape flagstone patio is built, and we're really finalizing details here today. We'll get this all planted out and finished up this flagstone path that connects from the brick walkway around the house is connecting through, and I'm marking out right now for lights. So we're adding some new additional path lights that will come down through the woods here and light the way and be inviting to come down into the forest here and come to this fire pit area. I'm zigzagging these lights down and through here, and then I'm going to surround this fire pit patio with some of these down lights, these path lights, so that when they're looking up at the stars and things like that through the canopy here, there won't be any lights in their eyes. So we're not uplighting or anything, really keeping the lighting very, very, very mellow. But this is a very, very simple fire pit. We've got to put a little bit more stone around this to hide the galvanized tin liner there. But here on Mackinac Island, we can have fires in a contained area like that when there isn't a burn ban on or anything like that. So with a careful, safe fire here, they can have a nice small fire with a cover on it. So we have like a steel grate that goes over top of that, and they'll have nice, big, comfy Adirondack chairs with some cushions on it and everything like that to make this space out nice. So by the end of today, we should have this all smoothed out with some new soil and mulch, plantings with some ground cover and stuff to make this really private and sweet down through here, finish out this pathway, and then this joint, the joints in between here are going to be finished with a sand soil mix. So we'll sweep in a sand soil mix in between here and then literally plant it with native moss. All right, so we are out in the woods on the back part of their property here and looking at the base of some of these trees for just a little bit of this moss. And what we'll do is blend this in and crush it up in with that soil and sand mix that we're sweeping in between that flagstone. And all the spores and everything of this moss will more or less germinate as we plant it in between that flagstone. So believe it or not, we'll pack some of this in. We'll lay a little bit on top and stuff, but by mixing all this moss right in to that sandy soil mix, it will just continue to grow more and more moss, which is the look that we're going for. So pretty cool. And even, I can harvest it from around this tree, and in another month or so, it'll be right back. Certainly by next year, you'll never even know I was there. We're stopping to take a little lunch break here, and we have to pack our lunch every day because we never know, one, where we're gonna be at lunchtime throughout the island and everything. And if we didn't have our lunch with us and snacks and water and everything, then it'd be a long bike ride all the way back into town to the one store to get lunch or refreshments or sodas or anything like that, and then ride all the way back up the hill, all the way back here to to have lunch. So one, we don't have time for that, and we certainly don't want to ride our bikes and waste all that energy and stuff during the brief amount of time that we take a break for lunch. So we pack a good lunch and sit back and enjoy ourselves. hope to see you guys again soon in another video. We're gonna be doing all kinds of fun videos here down in Florida, everywhere in between. So stay tuned. Hope you guys all have a great day. Cheers. Some hot dogs for us. Hey, look at Cletus, they're cooking wieners.